what's up, Phillip? I am going to do a demo for you. This is going to be probably the longest demo I've ever done. I probably got about 1,000 videos on my YouTube page, and this is by far going to be the longest one. This is a 5-saber demo and a recessed blade. All right, so we've got your Evoflex conversion. This was converted to a CFX. We've got 2 different Graflexes from the these are Graflex replicas from the Graflex shop. You have one in a New Hope conversion that was installed with the CFX. You have one in ESB conversion, and this was also installed with the CFX. We have your Corbanth Elf Sabers BMF Mace Windu. This was installed with the CFX. And then we have also your Magic of Myth, the Veracity Labs 7 Chambers MoM Luke Hero Saber. This one was installed with the Proffie. All right, and then also to go along with this saber, I went ahead, per your request, of course, I made you a recessed blade. So you have a recessed Neopixel blade right here. We'll put this in, we'll fire it up. We'll fire all these guys up one by one. All right. You gave me sound fonts. You gave me at least one sound font for each saber except for the Evoflex. We'll go over the Evoflex first, okay? 2-button setup. So what I did here is I opted to do what I would, something that I used to do on these guys is I put 2 tactile switches right there on the card. So your front switch will be your power, your back will be your auxiliary switch. You've got CC Sabers in here for your Neopixel connector, which is pretty standard for all of these sabers actually. All right, and then how to get to the chassis, you just want to unscrew the handle. So the handle comes right off. You'll see a piece of your chassis sticking out here. What you want to do is grab it and pull it straight out. Don't twist it. All right, so we'll pull it straight out. It is pretty snug. So we'll pull it straight out, and this is what this looks like. So of course you got your CFX right here, easy access to your SD card. I try to make easy access on all my chassis, right? So you can come over here, pop that out with your finger, pop it back in, no problem. If this will focus, there you go, right? We gave you a, me, I gave you a Neopixel strip accent right here to light up the mesh that's located on your saber right here. So that lights up all the way around. You do have a removable battery setup, so nice and clean there. A 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker, and of course, you know, there is your Carl Chen PCB right there. So on this first guy, we'll throw a battery in rather. Now when you put this in, you've got a 3, I forget what these are even called, right? They're just bouncy tabs really for your switch. Okay, for your switch connection. So you got a positive, or you got an auxiliary, a power, and you have a shared ground. And that makes a connection with a piece in there that's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see my 3D printed piece that's glued up in there. That means this only goes in one way. All right, so this piece has to be facing the control box like that. And as you're putting it in, you'll notice it'll stop and it won't go in any further unless you have it lined up correctly. And then once you have it lined up correctly, you can push it the rest of the way in. So we'll come over here very gently because it is a snug fit. Just push it all the way in until it stops. The speaker pod piece will stop it, and then it's exactly where it needs to be. You can hit power. Right. We'll turn it off for now though. Come over here and put the handle on. Just screw the handle right on. Now come over here and hit power. Nice shine through in all your windows. So from one side of the switch box all the way to the other. Your LEDs are lighting up. Nice smooth swing. Auxiliary in the back. I hold it down for blade lockup, right? And we will throw a blade in here. Let's use my sanded blade because you have a pretty deep blade socket in here. It's pretty deep, all right? Now typically what I do, if it's a super tight fit in a saber, I'll go ahead and I'll turn the saber on while I'm putting the blade in. That way I know when the blade hits the pins and I can stop pushing on the blade. right there. So I'll go ahead and stop. Normally you could use 2 blade retentions on this guy. You could use this one and you can also use this one. I don't need it for the sake of this demo, but you will for swinging it around. We'll do some color change. Your mesh will match your blade. So let's go back and find a green and then hit power. Now we have a green blade. So this one is working like it should. This one has the stock font package on it. But when we're done, we'll come back through, loosen the handle. Again, we'll want to grab our chassis and pull it straight out. Don't twist it. And then you can come in from the positive side of the battery by the speaker, and you should be able to pop it out with your finger just like that. All right, so that is basically your Evoflex. Put this back in here for safekeeping. Screw the handle on, and we'll put this off to the side. And no real order, but just because this is how I have them lined out on my desk, we'll go over your Graflex that's in the ANH conversion, or a New Hope. Okay, both of the Graflexes are set up with 1-button config, so your top red switch will do everything. The slider, although it does slide on these replicas, they are very tight, hard to get them to have much motion. So when you try to use these as an auxiliary switch, if I can get that to focus, it may not like how shiny it is. Yeah, it doesn't want to focus, but when you get it in person, you'll notice that tab right there. Very hard to get that to actuate back and forth, and it just becomes more of a pain. So what I did was 1-button setup. All right. So what we want to do here is come over here and flip this up. We're going to take off the middle clamp and the back in one piece. So kind of push up and go counterclockwise, turn it a little bit until you can just slide all that off in one piece. All right, so we'll put that off here to the side. Both of your chassis on here are completely identical. All right, because as far as the innards are concerned, they're the same setup. So your CFX board right here, again, easy access to your SD card, popping it in and out with your finger. The sound fonts that you did give me are all from Kyberphonics. So this has his ANH, and I believe there were 2 different variations of this sound font. So they're both on here. Okay. So yeah, your CFX board, a removable battery setup, a little bit of your chassis there just to show you what it looks like. Smuggler's Outpost, 28mm. This is the Elite version on both of them, and it's fully enclosed, so it sounds very good. So again, we'll come over here and throw a battery in.
What a piece of junk!
Just like that. We can come over here and put the handle on. Slide it right together with that J-lock system, which is consistent on both Sabers. Can get our control box lined up where we like it, and then come through and close this up, and then hit power. So you've got nice shine through in your LEDs. You also have nice shine through here in your glass eye. Blaster bolts is just tapping. Your blade lockup will be holding down the button and hitting the saber. Whoops, I tried to do motion controls. So we'll throw a blade.
What a piece of junk!
We'll throw a blade in this guy too. Again, I'm going to use this blade because it's been sanded quite a bit. Turn on the saber. Now these, what I always suggest when using the replica Graflexes is to take out this screw when you get it and replace it with a longer one, and you can use that for blade retention. Okay, it's not your glass eye. You're going to want to replace that screw on both of the Sabers. But for now, it's holding the blade very well.
Spectrum.
We can find the blue if we want. This is kind of an ice blue. So we're getting a nice shine through here and here. And of course, to change sound fonts is you just hold down the button.
What a piece of junk!
Till you hear sound font selection.
Sound bank selection.
Sound bank selection. And then use this to cycle up the menu.
I suggest you try it again, Luke. This time, let go your conscious self and act on instinct.
This is the second variation of this font, and we'll just hold down the button.
With the blast shield down, I can't even see. How am I supposed to fight?
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
Of course, that's the wrong color. Just like that. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll take the blade out of this one. We'll take the battery out and we'll go over the one that is in ESP config. Just pop it out from the positive side, just like that. These are all pretty consistent no matter what saber we're talking about. I tend to install them all the same. The positive side of your battery is always going to be over by your speaker. All right, so we'll put this off to the side. Your ESB is the same way. So come over here and flip this down. Again, push up and go counterclockwise until you can kind of shimmy this off a little bit. And when you take this off, you'll notice you have the exact same setup. So there's your chassis, your CFX board, your removable battery, 28mm Elite speaker. Everything's the same there. All right, so we'll throw a battery in this guy too.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And then we can put the handle on this guy too. Get that control box where we like it, and then push the clamp down, locks everything in place. All right, we'll put a blade in this guy too. I forgot to mention, but both of these have the KR Sabers blade holders in them that you ordered and had sent to me.
Spectrum.
Blade lock up.
Sound bank selection.
The force is with you, young.
This one just had the one, so the rest of them are going to be a stock font package.
Crystal focus.
Just like that. All right, so we'll take the blade out of this one too. These are tight on here, so I just kind of wiggle them back and forth and take my time. They will come off. And then we can come up here, take this battery out, and put the handle back on for safekeeping. And then we'll go over your mace window. We'll kind of save the MoM for last since it has a blade that goes with it as well. All right. The mace window was also installed with CFX. Now this one is a 2-button setup, but both of your switches are in the middle gold piece. So your front, when you push it down, will be your power. The back here, when you push it down, will be your auxiliary. Okay. Even though this saber does open in the middle, I find it very difficult to open it sometimes, and it's even more difficult to try to open it in the middle without ripping some of these grooves off or these handle grips. So what I do is I just come over here I installed this guy so that you could take the chassis out of the pommel. All right, so we'll unscrew the pommel like that, take it off. You can pull your chassis straight out, and this is what you've got. So this is, again, your CFX board right there. Easy access to your SD card. Removable battery right here. This one has a 22mm Smuggler's Outpost Nano Elite speaker in it. So this is Albert's new speaker. It sounds very good in this guy. Of course, you've got your Carl Chan PCB, and then over here you've got your 2 switches. So when putting this chassis in, you have to line up this switch groove right here with the middle gold piece. All right, so and it's not hard to do. So we'll do that right now.
This party.
Just come over here and line that up as you're pushing it in. As long as you have it lined up right, it'll throw right in. All right, and then come over here and screw your pommel on. Very easy to do. Tighten it all the way down and come over and hit power. Back is auxiliary. So again, we can change color with this guy. Try to find a purple. Pretty close. Blade lock up. This one takes a 7/8 inch blade. However, this blade socket is super tight. So I don't have a 7/8 inch blade that will fit in here. I'd have to sand it too much and it wouldn't fit any other saber. Whatever blade you have that's dedicated for this guy will need to be sanded quite a bit. So for now, what I can do is just show you that everything on the saber works, but unfortunately I can't put a blade in it. And we got another sound font, even though
Sound bank selection.
this will be a soft font package.
Crystal focus.
Crystal focus.
Nebula.
Granny.
Revolt. Sharp. The old republic. The old republic.
And of course, just hold the button down when you find one. Just like that. All right, so we'll take the pommel off this guy too. Slide your chassis right out, and again, from the positive side, you can pop the battery out with your finger, just like that. All right, so that's the mace window. Slide this back in here. Lock this all the way down, and then finally we will go over the Magica Myth. This one installed with the Proffie. Your accent blinkies in your control box work of course. Carl Chan PCB. Take your clamp card here and slide it back, and when you do, you'll find your kill switch, and of course you got your reveal board back here if you were to slide it all the way back. All right, so we'll close that for now. This has my chassis design in it. They all do, actually, but we'll just come over here and unscrew the grenade section. You have a removable battery set up, but the spring side or the negative side of your battery goes inside the saber there. And you got a 7-pin connection here that makes contact with that blade side PCB in there. Okay, so we throw a blade in here, or a battery rather, sorry. Come over here and slide this on and lock it down all the way. Before I turn this on, if you ever need to get to your board, what you want to do is just unscrew the back. This also has a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite, and it's in its own speaker pod right here that never comes out. And then this opens up to give you easy access to your SD card and your micro USB. All right, but if you don't want to change your fonts or anything like that, you don't even ever have to open this up. This does have the font that you gave me. So we'll come back here and slide this back. Flip our kill switch down. You've got the cave scene blinkies there. Your front switch will be your power. This one is super loud, probably the loudest of all 5 of them. And back here is auxiliary. And you have twist off, and then it will go back to your cave scene. To put a blade in this guy, you want to come over here and grab the emitter like this and just unscrew the top piece. Okay? And before you put a blade in, you're going to have to back up your blade retention screw. So we'll do that real quick. Just get it out of the blade socket. We will take your recessed blade and put that piece, slide it up on there, that piece that we just took off, just like that. And we can come over here and slap this in and lock it down. A few things to get this going, but it's not too bad. Don't be afraid to bite down on the blade with this blade retention screw because it has to clear the threads. If you don't clear the threads, this piece isn't going to screw on properly. But when you get it, it screws on just like that. It's good to go. And we hit power. Blade lock up, holding down aux and hitting the saber. Right here. Right here. Double tap your power to play your soundtrack. Oh, I'm sorry, don't double tap. I'm on CFX right now. On CFX, it's a double tap. On Proffie, it's a long press. Another long press to turn it off. Just like that, right? One more time. All right. And then we'll go over taking the blade back out. We just want to come over here and unscrew this. Loosen our blade retention. Pop our blade out, take this out. And then before you put this back on, remember to put the blade, or the blade retention screw back into the blade socket just a hair. So it clears those threads and we can screw this back on. All right. Don't ever tighten this up too much, because if you tighten it up too much, you might take off that whole assembly when trying to loosen it. But again, just come over here, slide this back, find our kill switch, and flip it down to kill power, just like that. All right. So that's basically your Magic of Myth, and also your other 4 sabers along with your blade. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, we'll package this up, and since it's Friday today, I will get all of these out in the mail to you by Monday. Okay? Thanks, man.